You turn on the news and you hear about the Ebola virus. You go to class and hear your classmates talk about the Ebola and even crack jokes. I mean, I hear it every day. You go on the internet and you somehow run across another story about the Ebola virus. Well, the Ebola seems to be a popular topic these days, and a lot of people are talking about it, and I'm sure most Americans have heard about it. But does anyone actually know what it is? I mean, they need to be educated and know where it originated from, so they know how to combat this virus. Well, I'm here today to teach you where it originated from, how to combat it, the symptoms, and how to treat it. And so you'll know exactly what it is. So as a concerned U.S. citizen, I took it upon myself to research it. Now, to start out with, this virus originated in Africa. It was mainly in the central part of Africa, according to the World Health Organization. Originated in Sudan, the Congo area, and it was in the 1970s when they first saw it, among the Ebola River. And that is how the Ebola got its name. Now, the Ebola is from a strand of virus called the Zaire species. They're thinking fruit bats got it especially. Now, this quote from health24.com says, studies published in 2010 and 2012 detected antibodies to the Zaire Ebola virus in the blood of certain fruit bats in Ghana. That was said by University of Warwick virology professor Andrew Easton. Alright, since this is found in West Africa, and they have found out it's contagious, it concerns a lot of people. And two, originally they thought it would only thrive in Central Africa. Well, now they see it spread to West Africa as well, and that's how today's strand is brought up, is from Central Africa. Alright, now that we know where it originates from, let's dig deeper and see what this virus actually is. Now, according to the CDC, it can be transmitted through body fluids, animals, especially those fruit bats, and pretty much anything that has come into contact with the Ebola. Now, the person is not contagious until they actually show symptoms. However, once they do show symptoms, they become very contagious, and people usually have to isolate them so they won't really spread the virus to anyone. Alright, it can spread quickly, and it almost reminds me of the domino effect. Once one person gets it, they can spread it to anyone in close proximity to them, and it just can keep on going and going and going. And some of the symptoms are, according to cdc.gov, you could have a fever of 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit or greater, a severe headache, muscle pain, weakness, diarrhea, vomiting, stomach pain, and unexplained bleeding or bruising. And they're most likely to surface between 8 and 10 days after you come into contact with the virus. It could be a few days before, a few days after that little time period. And just for an example of how quickly this Ebola virus can spread, let me give you a story I found on CNN.com. It's about Amber Vinson, and she's been in the news a lot in general. She's a nurse from Texas. She treated a patient with Ebola. A few days after, she started showing signs and symptoms of the Ebola virus, and it ended up being Ebola. Now, she even followed all the CDC's health regulations, and still she became infected. So this is concerning a lot of Americans, and the CDC especially. After the patient gets the symptoms, how is it treated? Well, according to the CDC, there's no set vaccination yet. I mean, they're working on one, but they don't have one yet. So they mainly use IVs, and they try to keep electrolytes in check, which is body salts. They maintain your oxygen and your blood pressure level, and they treat other infections as they occur. Even though this virus is deadly, the person can still live. So the best thing to do if you have the Ebola virus is to stay as calm as you can. So now that I've given you a summary on what it is, how do you stay safe? How do you prevent yourself from getting the virus even? Alright, when you go around a place that is suspected of it, or a person, you need to wash your hands after with at least 60% alcohol in the hand soap. You also need to wear clothing that protects you from head to toe. And so the virus won't get on your skin, so you won't breathe it in. And you need to stay away from the animals that carry it, especially bats and rodents if you're in a place like Africa. And I got that from learningenglish.com. You are now informed about the Ebola virus. You learned that it originates in Africa. You learned how it's transmitted, the signs and symptoms, how it's attempted to be treated, and how to combat it even. Now it's time to you to spread the information you've learned, much like the virus is spreading among the nation. It needs to be spread. This information, I should say, needs to be spread so people know how to protect themselves from it, and just to be educated in general. So now when you turn on the TV and you hear friends crack their jokes about it, you pull up another page on the internet, you now know what this virus actually is and where it originated from. Stay safe, y'all. Thank you.